closer?
That's good. This is the very first installment of...
No, wait a minute. I can put my hearing aid.
You don't need to, because you're going to be talking. All I'm going to do... This is a first installment of many to come. Who is Mort Weiss? I want to get some video of you.
Are we rolling now?
Yeah. Every time I see you, I want to get a little bit of video. And I want to start from the beginning, as far back as you can remember. You're from another generation. Once you're gone, it's gone.
Don't use the word gone around an old guy.
So
Am I on camera now?
Yeah, don't worry about it. What's your earliest memory? Your earliest memory?
Being in a crib on Jenny Lind Street in McKeesport, Pennsylvania, watching my mother and father argue. And she got so mad she threw an egg at him, a raw egg, and it hit the wall and ran down. I was still in the crib. They couldn't believe it when I told them verbatim
that you remembered it. What was the address there? Do you remember?
I don't know. It was just on Jenny Lind Street.
You know the cross street? Do you remember the other street or no? No? Wow. Okay. So what year were you born?
1935, April 20th.
And today is January 27th, 2020. So you're about midway through your life now.
I'm more of a visionary. I have 20/20 vision of life, you know.
Wow. Okay. So of all the things going to the other end, what is your biggest concern at this age? Not many, because there's not many people. What are you, 83?
84.
84. So what is a 84-year-old like you being you, what's your biggest concern in life right now?
Well, if I can add this in, and I'm not being flip, there are very few 84-year-old people like me.
There were very few 20-year-olds like you too, but very few people like you. But what is your biggest concern at this point?
Concern?
Yeah, if you were to worry or think about something, what is it? What's the thing you put most energy into worrying or?
Not being remembered as a great jazz artist.
Yeah. And you've been playing jazz for how long?
Ever since I picked up a horn, I guess. I matriculated through.
What horn was that? How'd you get that horn?
Clarinet.
Where did you get your first horn?
Remember my dad?
I remember. They don't remember.
Yeah, it was a metal clarinet, and I took a lesson in McKeesport. And I was 9 years old from a Mr. Lamb, who taught my dad how to play sax. Same teacher.
Was Grandpa good on the saxophone?
He was adequate. He never practiced.
What genre did he play? I never saw him play.
Pardon me?
What genre did he play? I never saw him play.
Just songs of the day and stuff of the 30s and 40s.
Wow.
And he and I both worked together on a job with the Los Angeles Park and Recreation Department. They had this little traveling circuses that would go to different schools. The kids would learn, their parents would come at night, and the band was paid by LA School District. And wow. He subbed in one night and played sax next to me. He couldn't read music, but he did it all in his head, and he made it through.
Oh, you were playing at the same time?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that. I don't think you ever told me that. All right.
Okay.
That's a big one.
I can picture that we were playing in Boyle Heights.
Wow. And for those not familiar,
about 8 o'clock.
Boyle Heights these days,
you don't play
it's not the same place. Wow.
Okay.
So let me ask you this now. Do you remember the first time you knew we were at war in World War II?
I remember December 7th as clearly as I can remember what I did this morning. It was a Sunday. It was a cold day. I had a bit of a cold.
How old were you?
I was
roughly
6.
Oh wow! Okay.
My dad was at work at the gas station that he was running for his folks, and I was being cantankerous because my mother wouldn't let me go outside. And I had these little building blocks. I don't even know what they call them. They're not Legos, but she wouldn't let me listen to the radio either. I was being punished. So I said, well, I'll just build my own radio. And I started building radios, with the block and pretending I could hear it. And it just really pissed her off. And she told me to get up and get undressed and go to bed. And she was so mad. She came up those stairs on Power Street where you visited. and she gave me a whack right across my bare ass, man. It was we always refer to it as her surprise attack on December 7th.
Oh.
Then I remember my dad calling, and I could hear, I was upstairs, but I could hear my mother sounded kind of constrained, and I went down and listened, and she hung up, and I asked, well, what is a war? What does it mean? You know, I mean, I remember it just.
Did she say we're at war?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was, but I didn't know what it meant.
What was her at? Was she nervous or was she upset?
Yeah, that's why I pursued and asked the questions.
Wow.
And then Roosevelt made his speech the next day to live in infamy. That nobody
Did you guys listen to that as a family on the radio? Were you like in the living rooms, crowded around the radio? That's how we picture it.
Yeah, probably. I can't. I
Wow. Grandpa must have been very concerned.
Well, his draft board, but he was happy that they cut slack for Pearl Harbor fathers.
Yeah.
That's how he stayed out. But my uncles all went in.
How many of brothers? How many uncles went?
Dave, Morris, Milt, 3 brothers.
And one was Marine, or were they?
Uncle Morris was the Marine in the picture.
And that was in the
Uncle
Pacific.
Dave was the head of adjutant general. He was a graduate of Harvard Law School, and he went to set up the town. But he was the head of the American troops. That picture of him in the Jeep.
And he was in the Army, correct?
Yeah. And Uncle Milt was in the Army in the Philippines situation.
Wow. So you had.
And they all went through the whole war without getting one scratch, and they were all major combat veterans.
Right. Yeah. Well, one was on Guadalcanal.
Uncle Morris.
Morris. Yeah. Wow.
1st Marine Division.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that picture that we have on Facebook. Yeah, like you say, 2 weeks later he was there in Guadalcanal.
Unbelievable. And
he was not allowed to write where he was. The mail was censored going in and out. They had a thing called V-mail. V is in victory mail. And it was on little thin onion skin paper because it wouldn't take up much room, so the airplanes wouldn't have to use as much gas for the fly.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it was. But Uncle Morris devised the code system. I think I told you, in his room, a bureau of drawers, socks were in this and that. And by the way, in the lower right-hand corner of my bureau drawer, there might be an old pair of socks for skiing or something. Well, that's saying lower left. Okay, that can't be Europe. So we knew it was that. So
wow.
That's the way they communicated.
You just explained something to me I didn't know. My other grandpa on my mom's side that was on the West Virginia that sunk,
yeah.
I have letters from him, and they're on that very thin paper, and I've always wondered what the hell the paper was so thin for.
That's it.
Wow, I did not know that.
That's it, yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
God, there's so many questions. So, do you remember when they were rationing things like rubber and
big time. Yeah, I mean every car had a sticker on it. I'm gonna put my hearing aid in so I can.
Yeah.
I'm answering the question. I'm doing another interview surreptitiously, and okay, Sam. All right, get the girls ready.
Yeah.
I'm still with my son, Studio A.
So did they have drives and things for like rubber and nylons and things?
I still know how to knit. I was knitting scarves for servicemen, OD scarves.
And what was that? Something that everybody was pitching in for the war effort?
Something. So my mother taught me how to knit.
And then what did you do with those?
I knitted, and then we sent it to the USO, and they took care and dispersed it.
Wow.
There's some guy who was wearing a scarf that I made when I was 7 years old or 8 years old.
Wow.
I remember when this country was 100% united against something. We had to axe the axes. We had to kill Hitler. We had to kill Tojo.
Mussolini.
And it was, now, granted, the country was in the height of black discrimination. It was so prevalent. Looking back in retrospect, everything you heard, man, was true. And you know my feelings about that. And you put it to me pretty succinctly when you said, you don't feel sorry for any black person unless they have real gray hair.
Yeah.
and that's true.
Right.
There's no, you know, you can't. How far back are you going to get mentally even repatriated? You know.
Yeah, it's hard to listen to a young 20-year-old rapper
Oh
talk
man,
about.
I was this and that.
Yeah,
You know,
and I'm oppressed.
But back to the rationing thing, paper drives. Because of school, I was in school. Don't forget, I was in George Washington School, still there, elementary school in McKeesport until 1945 when we left for California. And there's the paper drives, tin cans. I mean, anything, Mike.
Yeah.
Anything. Anything. And like, you know, all the major, there weren't new cars. Nothing came out. There wasn't anything new. We had a 41 Chevy because my dad was able to get it before.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah, okay, so
I thought you were having a fit.
okay, so you were okay. That was World War One, and then I'm sorry, World War Two. You got me. That thing on your lip fucked up my concentration.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I always foam at the mouth when I get sexually excited.
yeah.
I just want you to know that.
Okay, so you were raised. Obviously, you're Jewish, and so you.
Why is that obvious?
I mean, because I
My
know
fly
you.
zip?
No, your nose is huge. No, but my fly. So you were raised Jewish, and I mean,
Very.
and you've suffered some pretty heavy discrimination.
Very.
And tell me a little bit about some of the discrimination that you dealt with.
Where you want to start? Back east or out in California?
Let's start when's the first time you felt pressure because you were a Jew?
Well, you probably heard that interview I did on the Chicago Jazz Show radio about getting beat up to going to school and back and forth because I killed Christ.
Because you killed, yeah.
You know, I had to ask my parents, who is and why did we kill him?
And when you moved out west, jumping ahead,
Brutal.
You couldn't rent any place, right? Because they weren't.
You couldn't rent if you were black or Jewish, or there were closed sections of Los Angeles, Inglewood, Pasadena was blatant. The signs were up, no Jews and niggers allowed after dark.
Wow. And so
I saw it.
Where did you end up when you first got to Los Angeles? Where did you guys live?
With my some relatives of my dad, some cousins of his folks, Max Charlin, right by La Cienega and the 8-hour with the milk cows standing out there.
Yeah.
Remember in my little 1967 trip where I'm running amok? That was parallel to La Cienega, the street.
What year did you get to California?
November 1945. After the cross country trip.
Yeah, and see, those are stories I want to get. I don't want to overburden you on this one, but I want to break those down in future videos because that trip alone is worth a video. Okay. I think from beginning to end, and that will.
And a few false starts.
Yeah.
My dad was going to buy a bar in St. Louis. We had my mother had some distant relatives. We stayed at St. Louis. The Zonases. And their son was a B-17 pilot, and he came home when we were there from the war. He had flown all the missions and everything over Germany.
Yeah. Wow. So before what are we at here? We're already at 13. I was going to keep it at about 15 minutes each video.
I can drool after that.
You can drool after that. But before we break off on this one, two things. How do you've seen a lot of more presidents than I have. What do you think of President Trump?
What I think of President Trump really is based what's coming from you. If you and I weren't tight, I really don't care much for politics. I don't trust any politician. To me, anybody that's a politician is a suspect. Why put yourself through all that? Bottom line, I don't see anybody on the horizon better because this country's going to shit in a handbag, man, and it's not. Trump will probably stave off the end of the America that I knew and you knew for another 20 years, but it's inevitable. My feelings from a kid, and I know it's coming, and it's against my feelings because I'm not raised that way. It's going to be one world. There cannot be, especially with the communication and the technology we have established now, where you're getting calls and emails from South Africa. I'm getting it. I can talk to somebody in Italy. I mean, you can't have wars if you're playing ping pong with some guy.
Right.
And it's a good thing, but to get that sort of thing, you have to give up. You have to break those A's for the fucking omelet, man.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not happy with it, but it's inevitable. It can't be other than that. There cannot be lines saying, because we all bleed fucking red. We all bleed red, we all hurt when we stub our toes, man. And we will get through it in 100 to 200 years from now. It's going to be a different planet if we're not wiping each other out in the interim. We're talking about atomic submarines today that they can launch missiles anywhere, 24/7. You know, well, we're better than you. We can kill everybody in the world 45 times over. Oh, yeah? We're coming out so we can kill everybody 50 times.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Dead is dead.
You know, it's called the human race. And I'm not really sorry I'm going to miss a lot of that.
You're not sorry?
I'm not sorry.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, since you brought it up, so what are your thoughts on death?
I think I don't fear it. I just rather be somewhere else when it happens. Woody Allen.
Yeah. What are you? I mean, what is your?
I don't believe in an afterlife.
So what do you believe?
I believe it's a piece of shit, man. I had to work all these years to know what I know now, and it's going to be snuffed out like a candle.
Yeah. So.
But I do have something. I've made records, music. You know, if that'll still be around. But that in itself doesn't mean shit because I'm not going to be aware of it. So it'll be like I never happened.
So you believe in sort of just nothingness as far as Mort Weiss is concerned?
I don't remember before I was born.
Right.
You know, and like I said before, it's not easy being an atheist.
Yeah. Are you an atheist?
Yeah. You know, and that's not the true sense of the word. If I could, you know, I hate that. Call yourself an agnostic. Bullshit. God, if there's a God of the fathers of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Muhammad, Jesus Christ, and one has to pass in review, so to speak, in front of them, dude better have some answers to some of the questions I have. And it ain't all about the Holocaust. It's about a lot of things.
What's the first question you would ask?
Why the game? You know that.
Of life.
Yeah, why are we being tested? For what? Oh, well, why didn't you tell me that when I was down there, dude?
Do you have any hope at all that maybe you're wrong about the afterlife?
Oh, I'm sure deep within the terrain, the subconscious of my mind, nobody wants to be extinguished.
Right. I'm
not happy about that. But I'm not happy about it because I've learned too many things that happened when it was too late for me to do anything about it. I've been pretty proactive in my life. You know something about it. I usually sit and wait for shit to happen. You know, I try to participate as much as I can. You know, bringing you to my doctor's today so you can pay the $45.
That was brilliant.
I mean, talking about tactical. That was one of my better ones, man. Okay, Mike, why don't you come on in, man? I want you to hear what the doctor. Oh, what, money?
Oh, gee, I seem to be a little light on cash today, doctor.
Yeah, why don't you ask me how I feel about you?
How do you feel about me?
Stronger than you'll ever know.
We've had a bit of a rough awakening, you and I.
I'm very proud of you, man.
Thanks,
I couldn't think of any man wanting to have a better son and wanting that has devoted his life into the service of his fellow man.
Well, that means a lot.
Carries a lot of fucking weight, man.
In spite of all my quirkiness, and we both have it.
I understand you. I mean, you know.
Well, that's true. You above most, if not all.
Nobody in this fucking world, man, I can talk to, or I can talk to you. Yeah. Nobody would even understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah. We have some great
and if
talks.
they did, I'd be scared of them.
That's
It's like I don't want to join a club that has me as a
yeah. If you can follow us, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, I don't want to be.
Yeah, that's
once
true.
enough.
And for those listening, I mean, a phone call with my dad could start off with, hey, stop being such an asshole, to literally the speed of light, fucking the fact that when a chef is cooking his 5-star meals, he's actually cooking shit. I mean, it goes 4 or 5 hours of everything. That's true. So I have to admit that I don't have anybody on earth that I can talk to like that. That when they get pretty, I wish they were all recorded.
Well, to me, and I'm not saying this disparagingly, you're the funniest guy I've ever met. I used to say that when you were in the Army and younger.
Wow. And coming from my dad, who's pretty fucking funny. I
hit the floor like a sack of russets.
A sack of russets, Joe Bunch. Now, it's funny, and I'll end it here. One of the people at the doctor's office on the way out literally said, "You two should take this show on the road." And
And we weren't really heavy in
No, we were just being ourselves in the waiting room, but the people were doubled over and they were urinating on themselves. But no, we have fun, man, when we're not fighting each other. But when we fight each other, it's always about love. It's based on some love and some misunderstandings.
You might have noticed I've given up fighting with you. I just acquiesce.
Well, I finally got to the point where I think you're convinced that if I had to, I could probably take you down.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because I can't hear most of the
Yeah,
stuff.
when he was in better shape, I still had to say shit from across the room. Well, Dad, listen, man, this is awesome. I want to do more of these because my goal, and I made some videos on YouTube and on TikTok. I want everybody that has a living father or mother to do this because I had seen something on YouTube a long time ago. Somebody went around and interviewed all of the surviving World War II veterans. And with the idea that they're leaving and they're leaving every day. And once they're gone, man, those memories are history. But people can learn from everything that you say and the experiences. Once you take your memories, or later on I take mine, then it is like it never happened. It's important that we look back because society's changing so fast.
George Santayana put it succinctly. Those who forget the histories of the past
are doomed to relive. Yeah. And man, I think
that's pretty cozy.
That's pretty heavy. All right, Dad, I love you, man. Stay tuned for part 2.
Adios.
Out.